tired. I clearly need more coffee. My name is Dr. Erica Barron, and this is our head LVT, Ellen Carosa, here at Nova Cat Clinic. And today, we're just going to chat.
Yep.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yep.
And if you've never heard the Maccabees, Ellen and Patrick can tell you how much they love them now because they let me listen to them.
Oh,
while we
morning
did
walk! I think I know
procedures.
every single parody now that's out there.
Yes, all of the parodies for Passover and Hanukkah. And if you don't know about them, you should.
You should.
You should. Patrick and I are quite good at like doing the a cappella dance now. Okay, moving on to cats. We had a couple questions on Facebook, so why don't we start there? And if anybody has any questions while this is going, just pop them in, and Patrick will let us know your question, and we can answer it live. One of the questions was, do our cats hunt at night, and do they know they're hunting? Because they like to walk around carrying things and kind of make this cry. So yes, cats like to hunt at night. They see differently than we do because they have a different amount of rods and cones in their eyes. So they see best at dusk and dawn, which makes sense because that's when mice are most active.
Yep.
And they do like to hunt at night.
They do. It keeps them busy. And I have one of those little home cameras for my cats, and it will go on and off throughout the entire day. And Loki is always wandering around with his little fuzzy mouse in his mouth, and he only does it usually during the day. At night we don't see him, and then the camera doesn't turn on at night at all. But his span for hunting his mice is from like 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Francis says hi.
Hi, Francis! We miss you!
Also, we have a question for a male who to stop spraying. He has been cleared by a vet for urinary problems.
Well, first of all, that's not enough information because we need to know whether or not this is a neutered male cat. And where is he spraying, etc. So there's not enough information. You just can't say he's been cleared by a vet.
Also, being cleared by a vet, to me, if you have a spraying issue, means full lab work, a urinalysis, a culture, and possibly an ultrasound of the bladder and the kidneys and the ureters. So that's, to me, what clearance from a vet means.
Yeah.
Things you could try without seeing a vet would be Feel Away and Zilkeen.
Yeah.
And those are good places to start.
Yep, and not just Feel Away Classic, but the Feel Away Multi-Cat too, because if it's an inter-cat issue in the home, or there's a cat that likes to sit on your doorstep, etc., that becomes an inter-cat aggression because he's coming into somebody else's territory. So there's a lot more information you need to share, either with us or with your veterinarian to kind of get a clearer picture. But not everything's behavioral.
He has been neutered, and all of that has been done.
Okay. Another thing you could do is you could go to our website, which is novacatclinic.com, and go under the, I'm trying to think of what it was called.
Resources?
I think it might be client resources, or it might be under behavior, and there is a lot of information about all of the recommendations from the American Association of Feline Practitioners about litter boxes, because there are a lot of litter box rules. A lot of these rules were made by people who don't live in our area of the country, and sometimes just changing one thing in the litter box will make all the difference. So real fast, the litter box rules, I think we've done a video on this before, but I think it was a while ago, so you might want to look at our old videos because we did talk a lot about elimination issues. You should have one more box than cats. They should not be able to see the boxes from each other. So for example, if they were in the same room, if there's like something in the way so you can't see one box when you're standing in the other, that's fine. But if you can, the cat only sees that as one. You should scoop it daily, completely clean it out weekly. It should be completely open. The cat should be able to completely turn around. It shouldn't be uncomfortable getting in or out. It should be in a low area of traffic. There should be no noise. It's preferable for it to be in a corner, so this way the cat only has to worry about two sides while it's going. And I feel like I'm forgetting one. There should be one on every floor.
Yeah. Preferably unscented litter, even though you might like the scent. Nope. I would hate to say this. You know, all these scented cat litters that are out there, all it is flower scented poop. It does nothing for the smell. You get unscented litter, you change the litter twice a day, scoop it multiple times, you're not going to have these issues. the problem with these litter boxes that they create these scented litters are for people who are lazy. Sorry, it's true. Nobody likes to go use a porta potty. It's essentially what your cat's using, and all it's doing it's covering the smell, and your cat has a more sensitive nose, etc. And here you're like basically flooding a room with Febreze and then closing somebody in the bathroom without a vent on and saying, have fun, you know, and that's what it's like. It's overwhelming for a cat. So if you remain with something unscented or use a litter that has an attractant in it that makes them want to use the potty box, and you scoop that litter multiple times a day, you're gonna have less issues when it comes to potty box problems, because nobody likes to use a dirty bathroom.
Yes, Patrick?
Our friend Francis has
Francis!
gas, and
Oh, I'm sorry, you're gassy.
wants to know if there's anything that he can do about that.
Francis, you just be as gassy as you want to be. I know it's from your snickety snacks all the time.
Flagellant.
I
Francis.
would try some probiotics. I like Fortiflora and Probiable. I heard
Francis is super stinky, and it's because he loves to eat, and he loves to eat anything. And the moment you change up something, I think if you could, Francis probably could go flying around the room with as much he does some tooting. It's pretty
That's
intense.
impressive.
Your eyes will water.
So one of the things I was listening to a podcast like a month or two ago about GI flora. I know this is very
You can have a whole hour discussion on GI flora
Yes.
as it is.
So anyway, one of the things I took away from it, and this was like a human doctor, I'm a human, like a physician, like with a GI specialist, and they were saying how it's great if you take a probiotic, but that's 1,000 or 1,000,000 copies of the same species of bacteria. So you really should switch them up every so often.
Yep.
So I usually think, okay, if you have a box of Fortiflora, use that, and when you're done with that, switch to Probiable or switch to something else.
Right.
It shouldn't be on the same.
I do believe
People shouldn't
Fortiflora
either.
only has 1 or 2 strains of bacteria in it, while I believe Probiable has more than 4.
I don't remember.
But there's some of them that have different strains of bacteria in it. So it is important to think about that if you're using the same strain of bacteria, all you're going to do is going to get an overgrowth of that particular bacteria.
Right, and that's why the same with people. Like it's great if you're on a probiotic, but usually when you're on a probiotic, you feel great for like a week, and then you just keep taking it because you don't think about it, and then it's like it's not helping anymore because it's the same copy of the same bacteria, and it's just repopulating that bacterial strain and not switching to something else. Patrick.
Cat bites a client's ears at 5 a.m. Any tips on training him not to do that?
He's like, ooh, it's time to get up.
Oh, at 5 a.m. Feed me, feed me, feed me.
Yes.
Maybe get an automatic feeder. So you're not related to feeding your cat at 5
Right,
a.m.
or the Doc and Phoebe little mice system. They can run around the house and look for these during the night, early in the morning, etc. But that's usually an indication of that is your alarm clock at 5 a.m. It's time to get up.
And the other thing you could do if you're severe and it's really bothering you, you could get a pair of earmuffs and put like Vicks Vapor Rub on them, and then the cat won't bite your ears because they don't like that smell. And you will probably sound much less congested than I do right now if you slept that way.
My husband, when we used to have our old cat Goblin who passed away, 21 years old, when she was a kitten, she used to love doing that to him, and he would have to wrap the cover around his head and sleep like this all night long because this cat would be laying on top of him and she would not leave his ears alone. It was the funniest.
He must have had really fun ears.
She did it for the longest time, and finally she stopped. But it was funny that to see him like completely covered up like this, all smushed up and everything. So he's trying to hold it down because the cat was like relentless. Like she
Sometimes
wanted
we have to do that with Cleo. She'll get like on a licking spree, and like if you have any part of your body out, like if your arm's out or your foot's out, she'll like start licking or biting you, and you're like, stop it!
Right.
I want
Yeah,
to sleep.
it's one of the
You get to
quirky
sleep all
annoyances
day.
that
I
they do
do
have.
work.
Yeah. It's,
Follow-up question to the urinary issues. There's a senior cat that has lost sight and was used to going to the bathroom in the garden. She seldom used the litter box and she peed outside. And now I assume she's confined to indoors.
So what I would do is I might try to recreate where she went outside inside.
Yeah, you could, especially with the low level sweater boxes you put underneath the bed.
Yeah.
Get something very long, very wide, and fill it with a more natural litter, such as a clay with the, I believe it's the Dr. Elsey's brand. They actually make a litter now, and I think it's in a black and green box that's meant for cats that like to go indoor, outdoor to use the potty box. So using a litter that's specifically made to attract cats might entice her a little bit more. Or what you can do is you can escort her outside and see if she'll use the potty box there, and then simply bring her back inside. Some cats do, if they were the kind of cats that like to go in the garden, some cats, we've actually recommended using, clean potting soil or even peat moss, something to kind of replicate for them for the outside if that's the current issue.
If you're going to do that, I would recommend putting them on a deworming
Yes.
protocol because
It's
potting
dirt.
soil is dirt, and I think what was the latest stat? Like 25% of them have roundworms in them
Yeah.
and roundworm eggs. So just make sure that if your cat's going in and out, or if you decide to do this protocol, that your cat's properly dewormed. And
Yeah.
you can talk to your veterinarian about that.
Yep, UVM Revolution once a month. Take care of that.
Yes, Patrick?
We have someone who has many cats who were just diagnosed with a ringworm, and her whole apartment has been exposed before she could catch it. She's been giving all the cats Lyme dips, and the cats with lesions are starting oral meds. But really, she's just scared and overwhelmed, and it's her first time dealing with ringworm. Is there any way that you two could tell her that it'll be okay?
It's gonna be okay.
It's
Ringworm
gonna
is
stink.
annoying. We've had ringworm with our kittens, etc. Had ringworm in my house multiple times. Personally, I don't like using lime sulfur dips. I think it's a dated thing, but it's still an
It
appropriate
works.
protocol.
It works.
My favorite thing to use is the Peroxy Wash shampoos or the accelerated hydrogen peroxide shampoos that are specifically made for pets, along with some of the topical mousse treatments. And of course, the oral medications are awesome. But yeah, it's going to get better with ringworm. You're going to want to purchase the Excel or Rescue disinfecting cleaner, because that's what's going to help clean your apartment much better than bleach. And it doesn't harm your furniture. It's okay to get on your skin, etc. It's a really safe product. But lime sulfur dip is still one of the recommended things to do, and unfortunately, it stinks to high heavens. But it's one of the things I simply don't use anymore.
The one thing I will say about lime sulfur dip is it's safe to use if anyone's pregnant. Some of the other things aren't.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget that ringworm is zoonotic, so these kittens could give it to the person asking or anyone immune compromised in their
Yeah.
household. So just remember that ringworm looks like a round red raised thing on people, and if that pops up, you should go see your physician.
Yep, and then they need to make sure that they are cleared with 2 negative cultures before they are adopted out.
Yes, Patrick?
All right. We have a foster who was so stressed in the shelter that she groomed excessively and now has some hair loss on her legs. She's now in this person's home and is less stressed, but the hair is not regrowing. Is there something that can be done?
Maybe she needs to be evaluated by a vet.
Yeah.
Something else could be going on.
Yeah. Also, it can take a while for hair to grow back. And if she had been on steroids or if she was immune compromised anyway, it'll take a while.
Yep.
So I would have her checked out.
Yep, and if they're painful, they'll lick in those areas as well. So maybe she has some arthritis, etc. going on. So something to have a good discussion with your veterinarian about.
Do cats stop playing when they're older?
No!
They can if they're painful or something else is going on. They might not play as much, but if your cat's not playing, there's probably something else going on. I'd see your vet.
I have a feeling that a lot of people, when they say my adult cat doesn't play, a lot of it has to do with if you ask, it's like, are you actually still initiating play anymore? Because, the kittens are fun and all that kind of stuff. And when you finally have an adult cat that becomes a little bit more sedentary, there are a lot of people out there like, well, that's just how the cat is. And they don't follow up with that enrichment later in life. So it's so important to continue that type of enrichment for your cat. And of course, if they do wind up having the sedentary bored lifestyle, that's how they're going to continue.
I like staying on the couch with my cats. I'm just gonna put it as it is.
I don't leave my cats alone. My husband's like, you just leave them alone already. I'm like all over my cats all the time.
Yes, Patrick?
Is it considered normal practice for a certified feline-friendly vet to perform declawing of all 4 feet?
Oh, see, that's an argument that we're not going to get into.
We're not touching this one with a 10-foot pole, sorry.
We do not declaw here at Nova Cat Clinic. We have not declawed in well over 15 plus years. It is by practice. We're not fans of declawing. That's the reason why we don't do it. We don't discuss it. We will not recommend it. We will not give any recommendations to go elsewhere either. Our veterinarians are actually really good at educating our clientele on the cons of what's going on here.
It's so the way I see it is, it's not, pets are people's personal properties.
Yep.
We don't recommend doing declaws. We find that it can cause a lot of arthritis in their feet when they're older, and it can also end up with other behavioral issues. So if you are interested in decline, we just recommend that you talk to your regular vet. Different feline friendly practitioners do different things, but we don't do that here.
No, and that's a big political discussion. Just so you know, we don't do it, we don't recommend it, and we won't give any recommendations for them to be done anywhere. If that's a choice you want to make, then perhaps that's where you need to go. But we won't indulge it on that.
Yes, Patrick?
All right. Let's see. We have a 7-month-old cat noticing blood in his poo-poo. Should this happen as he is so young?
Sounds like you need to go to the vet.
Yeah, take in a fecal.
Sounds like you need to go to the vet. Blood in the stool can be a bunch of different things, and that's where your veterinarian comes in handy for a full physical exam and maybe some diagnostics like a fecal, like Dr. Barron said.
Yes, Patrick?
All right. Hold on. I got a few of them here. Let's do the Facebook one first. How do you put a kitty on a weight loss plan when you have 3 other kitties
That's a great question.
that don't
We actually
that
do a
don't need to
whole
lose
thing
weight?
on diets recently.
Yeah, I would go back to some of our other videos. I know we've talked about that. When you have multiple cats, if they have a microchip, you can get a microchip reader.
Yeah.
So it only opens for the cat who sticks its head in.
Mhm.
And we do not have the smartest cats here. Emmy and Buddy are not the smartest cats. They're very cute. And they were able to figure it out.
Mhm.
Now that being said, my cats are even not smarter. Like, they're not gonna call them dumb, but they're not the brightest bulbs. And they were never able to figure out like the little no bowl thing. So I don't know if my cats might take them longer to figure out the microchip reader.
Yeah, Emmy loves her microchip
Yeah,
because she
she
knows
does.
Buddy can't get her food.
Yeah, she's like ha ha ha. So I would start there, and I would work with your vet to figure out how much your cat should be
Yeah.
eating. There are some diets like the metabolic diet that are supposed to be, it doesn't matter if you're a skinny cat or a fat cat, you should be able to eat that, and it enhances your metabolic rate until you're the normal weight.
Right.
So you could talk to your vet about using them.
Right, and it's all about quality versus quantity, and then you can have a high quality food with a low quantity to eat, which is, it's pathetic. I mean, some cats are like, I'm gonna eat a tablespoon of food per day because it's so calorically dense. Or you can have a low quality food with a high quantity to eat because it's not calorically dense and it's actually not very good for you. So a lot of the prescription diets are very balanced. They are calorically dense and they also have enough quantity to make your cat's belly tell its brain that it's full and happy. So every situation's very unique. So that's why it's important to give your veterinarian as much information as possible so your cat is given the correct diet information.
Yes, Patrick?
I'm going to skip over some of these general questions that people are asking, but highlight this one. Are Christmas trees poisonous to cats?
I would definitely go, because every plant is different. Go to the ASPCA poison plant list, and I do believe they actually have the individual species of the trees and everything listed. It is not recommended that you allow them to get into the water that you're actually watering your Christmas tree from, because they actually ask you, I believe, to put additives in it. Dr. Aaron's like, I don't have a Christmas tree.
No, I would say keep your cats away from a lit menorah because my cat burned his whiskers.
It's like, I can feel your eyes penetrating me
like,
going, did you answer this question?
I was like, I still can't, like, to this day, I know people have Christmas take
Right.
everything off
Right.
of it.
It-
And I know some people say, oh, well, you just cut like this much off and then they can't get, I'm like, no, my cats would just
Right.
crawl up there.
Right.
So
It's important they don't get to the water source. It's important that you see them if they're chewing on the tree, try to deter them from it. Not only if they eat enough of it, they can wind up with significant GI distress, but sometimes, those things are pointy and you can get foreign bodies in your mouth, in your nasal
Nose.
cavity, in your throat. They can wind up having to have surgery because if they get clogged halfway down, etc. But they do make covers for the water. They do make tree underskirts now that actually lift the tree up a little bit, that the cats can't go up the tree. But be mindful, if you're gonna have these things in the house, you're gonna wanna cat proof it. So there's a whole bunch of tutorials out there that you can find on how to cat proof a Christmas tree. I was just watching one of them today that some people actually were really clever with some of their stuff. That
Right.
one person had like their cat, their tree, like in this case, and it was perfect. And all the cats were like, I can't get to it at all, and it looked amazing. It was wonderful looking. And then some people like actually put them in giant dog crates now, etc. So people are getting really clever about it. But do go to ASPCA Pet Poison website. They'll tell you what's poisonous and what's not.
yes, Patrick.
Somebody's calling you out on Ellen gives her cats sometimes a bit of her human food.
I
Which
sure do.
Human food is safe to give to cats.
Depends on the food, and I sure do. I absolutely food share with my cats. A lot of people food share with their cats, and it's okay to food share with your cats in moderation. My cats love getting, bits of egg, whatever.
Michelle likes potatoes.
Michelle loves potatoes, etc.
My cat likes sardines.
Yep.
They get sardines. And Cosmo really likes matzah because he's a good Jewish cat.
Some cats like bread, etc. Everything's all about in moderation. My cats just don't eat cat food. My cats live a very enriched life. I love food sharing, and it's part of our relationship that we have together. I just make sure what I feed my cats isn't poisonous.
Yeah, so the poisonous things, to remind you, no onions,
No
no grapes, no garlic, no raisins. I don't think cats are supposed to eat avocados either. I don't know why that always sticks in my head, but I've never really seen a cat eat an avocado.
When in doubt, check it out. Look it up on ASPCA Pet Poison website.
We have somebody, a cat who is peeing in a specific person's dirty laundry in the house. Can't figure out which cat it is, and they use a litter box. And they don't pee anywhere else.
Get a
Just-
video camera, figure out who it is, and then take that cat to the vet. That's what I would do.
Easiest thing to do, and you can get them now for like $25. They're super cheap, and they're like motion censored. Like as soon as they're where they're not supposed to be, that camera turns on, and you
Yeah.
catch the culprit right there. I've done it before. When I
My
actually saw
friends-
my cat poop downstairs in my family room one time, I found out who it was.
My friends have that hooked up in their house, and they caught a burglar.
Oh, that's crazy.
Grapes.
No.
No
Yeah.
grapes.
Follow-up question to the ringworm. Can it spread in air vents and stay in your house for years?
Not sure. I would look that up. I don't feel like it could spread in air vents because it usually dies on surfaces after a bit. But you could ask your vet, or you could go to, I would say go to, I think it's veterinarypartners.com and look up ringworm. I don't think it can though, because I don't know how it would sporulate and do all those things through the vents. That just doesn't make sense to me, but I could be wrong. So I would do some due diligence with that. I think we probably have time for one or two more
Yep.
questions.
6-year-old aggressive cat does not respond to Feliway products. A vet has checked her out, and there is nothing medically wrong with her. What is the next step?
See your behaviorist.
Mm-hmm.
All
See,
right.
it's time to
Also-
seek a specialist.
Also, when we say there's nothing medically wrong, I would want to see head to toe x-rays of that cat, make sure it's not in pain. I would want to see an ultrasound. I would want to see full lab work, including a thyroid level, possibly a free T4, and a full ultrasound, a urinalysis, a urine specific gravity, and a urine culture.
Right.
And make sure that the cat is rectal. Those would be, and check all its feet. Those would be the things I would do, and that's how I would say medically. There's nothing that I can find, and then send it to a behavior. So I hear you say the vets checked it out. Those are the things I would make sure were done before I said, okay, now I think you should see.
Right, because a lot of times the behaviors would be like, well, if you didn't do this, or this, you're going back to back to your veterinarian for those, so they can help rule out those issues. And on the American Association of Feline Practitioners, you can find some of the vets listed there as certified behaviorists as well.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes those are the people you want to seek out.
I know Dr. Ilona Rodan now does like behavior consults online, and she's written a lot of books, and she's phenomenal. So again, her name is Dr. Ilona Rodan, Rodan. I don't know what her website is, but you could probably find her pretty easily, and I know she's doing things like through the internet to help people.
We have some giardia on a cat tree. Does the cat tree gotta go?
What? Giardia?
Giardia.
I feel like you should be able to clean it. I would just clean it quite well.
We also have some furniture that we cannot throw away, so that's out of the question.
I feel like if it's cleaned well and everybody's treated a few times, it should be okay. I could be wrong. But I feel like if there should be no poop on the furniture, like we need to clean that anyway.
So giardia on a cat tree. Is that what you said, Pat?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was like my giardia on a tree. And then it's like a soil thing. You have to clean very, very well. And a lot of times the over-the-counter cleaners isn't enough. You might actually have to speak to your veterinarian for a veterinary formulation that actually does specific parasites and viruses, etc., to kind of really keep it clean. But yeah, you should clean it up as best as you can, and then once you've done the big cleaning, you should be okay. Because I figure, like, I have kittens all the time in my house, and my kittens just came down with coccidia of all things. So I'm going to be doing some
And you need to make sure you clean that litter
Yeah.
box really well.
Yeah.
And last question, guys. We have like 4 different people that have an adult cat, and they're getting a kitten, and they need some tips.
So get
Very,
two
very general
kittens.
question.
Get 2 kittens. So they leave the adult alone because the adult might not want the kitten.
But that might not be feasible. There are some
It's
people
not
that it's like,
Well, so
that's what I always get all the time. It's like, we'll get 2 kittens. Oh, I can't have 2 kittens. I'm only allowed to have 2 cats in my apartment.
so I'm only allowed to have 1, but I have 2. And
But you see what I'm saying? This is what I get all the time.
okay, so step 1, if you can get 2 kittens, do that. Because then the 2 kittens will play, and if the adult cat wants to play, it can, or it cannot, whatever it wants to do. Start running the feel away, maybe get some Zilkine.
Make sure
And
you use
then
the Feel Away multi-cat and classic.
Jess is putting a sticker up. I wonder what the sticker's for. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Dr. Wooten seems like she might need us. We'll finish this, and then we'll go help Dr. Wooten. So, get some Feel Away.
Yep.
Possibly get some Zilkine.
Yep.
And then you need to slowly introduce the cats.
Yep.
And I know we did a video on this a bit ago,
Yeah.
so I would watch that video and go through that. I know Dr. Brown also made that into a blog.
Yep. And it's super important that you don't change the routine of your adult cat. Keep that routine. Make sure that cat still gets paid attention to. You know, it's a whole system here, because when you're getting a new kitten, they're so wonderful, exciting, and everything is what's this with the kitten. Well, your adult cat might be like, I can't deal, and so they might be hiding for a while. So it's important that you actually pay attention to the adult cat while you're integrating this kitten. So
The other thing I would do is I would recommend making sure that your adult cat is healthy before you get the kitten. Because most likely, if it had herpes or something else, there's going to be an issue. So you want to make sure when you bring the kitten in, the adult's healthy, and that the kitten is as healthy as possible, because the minute they're stressed out, if they come down with herpes, then that's going to set you a couple steps behind on introducing them. Okay?
really important.
Well, thanks for sharing this time with us. Again, I'm Dr. Erica Barron, and this is Ellen Carozar, head LVT here at Nova Cat Clinic. And if there's ever any topics you want us to do, I know we kind of had a Q&A today. I don't know if you guys like that, or if there's a certain topic you want us to do, just let us know. You can comment below this video or send us an email at office@novacatclinic.com. Thanks and bye!